Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Delicious in Dungeon. Last time around we had snacks and sorbet. Where basically we followed a different group for a few minutes as they were making their way through and they found some treasure. However, the treasure, most of it, was actually Disguised Bugs, which is the name of my next death metal band, Disguised Bugs. I don't know if that's a death metal necessarily. I don't know. Or at least, maybe a prog rock band. I don't know. Probably isn't prog rock either. Anyway. So they died, and our gang caught up to them, and then they were attacked by ghosts, and they managed to create multicultural holy water, and they used that to fight off the ghosts, and then the holy water was frozen by the ghosts, and it became sorbet. And the whole underlying theme of the last episode was that they all miss Fallon, but they want to step up and do better because she's not here. So yeah, that is pretty much where we left off. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Delicious in Dungeon. Here we go. Alrighty. So he's turning 29. That is funny that... So, hold on. That brings into question... I mean, Senshi, sure, he's probably older. I mean, he's also a dwarf, but... But that does bring into question Marcille, because she is an elf. Now, I try to separate what elf means in this show versus what elf means in Freeren. So, I didn't even think about that, really, that Marcille could be older. I had no idea, really, but... So that means Leos is actually probably the youngest one there, so... But Chilchuk is about to turn 29. Bro, I'm about to turn 28. Man, the absolute difference. The absolute difference, man. I mean, I don't know, though. If I was skinny and shaved my beard off and still had all my hair, I might look pretty young. I don't know. Every so often I get a comment from someone that's like, oh, this dude looks like he's 35. Which, to anyone that says that, fuck you. You know? But I think I got someone saying... it's always young people that say that, you know, where it's just like, I think there was a comment I got recently that was like, oh, I can't believe Alex is only 6 years older than me, but when he looks like he's in his mid-30s, and I was just like, what the fuck you, you know? It's like, let me tell you, I had more hair when I was 21. You can go back and check. There's videos on this channel from when I was 21. A lot of the early Doctor Who videos, that's back when I was, 20 and 21. So, when my age you are, look as good you will not. So, boy oh boy. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I mean, what is age? What is age? I mean, now that's a dangerous question to ask because age does have very specific things that will always be there. What I'm talking about is old, you know? What I'm talking about is old. Let's not... I didn't mean to imply anything, but it's just like, what is age past... Let's say past the age of 25. Let's start there. Because prior to 25 is a very dangerous, slippery slope you could fall down, and we're not going to fall down that. But, I mean, it's the thing of, human lifespans are they're just getting longer, you know? They're just getting longer. I mean, just look at my dad. He's 73, and you really wouldn't be able to tell. I mean, obviously he's older. He's got a full white beard, but... No, he doesn't, he still gets up and gets around, you know? The same as he always has, pretty much, you know? So, I don't know how long the old man's gonna live, but probably gonna be a while. Probably gonna be a while. He looks better than most people do in their 70s, so... Anyway. But, I mean, it's also the thing of... Which, I don't know why we're going off on this topic of age. We'll get off of this tangent in a minute, but... It is the thing where I kind of think, like, you know, I'm in my late 20s now. I'm 27, I'm about to turn 28 in July. And there is slightly a part of me that thinks... Have I done nothing in my 20s? Have I done nothing in my 20s? And the answer is... Yeah, but that's not a bad thing. Like... Maybe I haven't, but like... I don't know. I still had fun. I did this! We had fun. We have fun here, so... It really is a thing of like... I probably haven't done what actually amounts to anything in my 20s, but at the same time, I've just enjoyed it, so I'll go and enjoy my 30s too. I don't know. There's a YouTuber, Dan Avidan, where, you know, he kind of has a joke, you know, he went through an awkward phase from ages 12 to 29, you know, then he started getting things together in his 30s, and now he's in his 40s, so yeah. Of course, in saying that, I have no idea what any of my friends from high school, what their lives are like now, you know. I shudder at the thought that any of them have children, which it's entirely possible none of them do, but it's entirely possible that one of my friends from high school has a kid now, and that's crazy to me, you know, because I'm not in any position to be doing that. Anyway, all that to say, age is funny. Now let's talk about the rest of the episode. Living paintings. Interesting concept. I like it. It is just a funny thing of like going into a painting. And I love too that the elf does recognize him, you know. Now granted, I mean, I guess the servant lady probably should have recognized him too. Maybe she didn't care. I don't know. But I mean, there you go. That I guess that could have been just a different person, but there you go. That elf lived that long, completely unchanged. You know, that elf was there when the prince was born, and now at the prince's, you know, coronation to be king, he's still there. He still looks exactly the same, and because he has this long memory, he remembers Leos. So, it kind of begs the question, too, because I kind of thought, like, okay, so, like, when he gets out of a painting, does that mean, I mean, because you can't take the food with you out of the painting, so none of that was actually eaten. Like, I'm just assuming this is a snapshot moment in time, basically, literally, where if anyone wanted to, they could just go in and be in that point. But that, like, time does not advance. Like, someone going in there probably... Like, if someone went into the same painting that Leos did, the people there probably wouldn't remember Leos? But I don't know. I'm thinking about it too much. So... But yeah, but it was funny that it's just like, oh, you gotta find the right place. You gotta find the right setting. So he tried to go to the prince's birth, but that didn't work. He tried to go at the... what was it? It was the prince's birthday, where unfortunately the king passed away, and he just couldn't take the food with him. So then he goes to the king's coronation, and he does eat, and he has this great, delicious meal, but then, once he leaves, none of that remains in his stomach, which is funny, so... But it's just a funny concept, you know? I mean, hey, I watched Blue's Clues when I was a kid. That's a cool thing. There is something inherently interesting about the idea of, like, jumping into a painting, you know? So, and obviously there are other, you know, things that play on that. Mario 64 plays on that. Doctor Who has played on that, you know? It's such an interesting thing. It's like, and that's the thing I like about this show. I like that they just take every possible fantasy thing and it throws it all into one thing. Like, it's so interesting. Because, like, I wouldn't be able to... I don't think you would see something like this on Free Ren, you know? Like, it's weird to say that Free Ren is kind of grounded, you know? But it kind of is, where it's just like, it's just a world, and you just kind of go through. Some people have magic, some people don't. There are some monsters, there's some monsters, but not a ton. You know, sometimes there's a dragon, sometimes there's demons, and then you just go and you fight them, and that's it. Whereas here, it's just like, no, just throw it all at the wall. Whatever fantasy thing exists, throw it all into one show, basically. And I like that, you know? Because you know, this, like, takes on that sort of D&D element, or that video game logic of, like, you know, it's like, oh, man, those guys over there died. Well, we'll, you know, put a spell on them so their bodies, you know, don't get possessed by ghosts. Hopefully the corpse finders show up and can revive them, and then they can be on their way, you know? So it's just, like, I don't know, it, like, doesn't play on... And just the fact that, you know, this gigantic dungeon exists, you know? This ridiculous, gigantic underground dungeon that has all of this ecosystem and everything. It's just like, this kind of stuff wouldn't be in Free Ren or Black Clover or anything like that. And I like that. I like that it just kind of goes crazy with what it wants to do, you know? So that's fun. That's really, really fun. It can just go all over the place with this stuff. And I mean, obviously, first and foremost, that's presented in the food, you know? The fact that it's like, okay, you know, a common fantasy trope is a mimic, which I do kind of wonder where the idea of the mimic started. Like, is that kind of in medieval fantasies, or... I don't know. Mimic fantasy. But, like, you take the idea of a mimic. Which is a treasure chest that will eat you. Now, yeah, this is different from the normal... It's different from the normal thing that you see, where it's just the treasure chest is just the mouth, basically. This is taking it like, well, the treasure chest is basically a shell for a crustacean, for a crab, basically. And that's really, really interesting. Okay, so Mimic is a very recent kind of thing, where it's like, it is an invention of, like, fantasy games, D&D and stuff like that, so, but it's like, it's taking that concept and it's like, okay, well, how, because that's what the author has to think about, like, well, how would you eat a mimic? Like, you know, in I think it's Free Rent. No, it was in Black Clover when Asta and Noelle are going through the dungeon and they find a treasure chest that is kind of a mimic, and they open it and there's just intestines in it, basically, you know? And then they're just like, ugh, and they just sort of walk away from it. I don't think it tries to eat them. I don't remember. It's a few episodes ago now. But that's kind of the way they go with it. It's like, okay, well, if you go that approach, you know, I guess if you take out the guts and stuff, is there meat in there that you could cook, you know, or something, or intestines you can cook? But here it's like, well, let's take that away. And it's like, okay, how would a mimic, you know, what else could a mimic be? And it's like, well, if this is a shell, like, what's inside the treasure chest? Like, well, it could be a shell for a crustacean. And they do that. And so that's a very, very interesting thing to do. And of course, I love Chilchuck's hatred of mimics. Like, that's really funny. Just the fact that he's fallen for them so many times. I mean, and it's funny too, because there's so many different types of mimics that he's seen. You know, it's not just the crustacean, but there's so many different types of mimics. And so he keeps thinking of how to one-up them, and it just doesn't work. Because it's hilarious, because this is literally just continuing the running joke that Freeren has, where anytime there's just a treasure chest, and she's just like, there's a 1% chance it could be a mimic. But that means it's a 99% chance that it's not a mimic. I gotta try it. And just smash cut, just hard cut to her just inside being eaten alive. So, it's so great. I'm glad both of these shows have that joke now. So, and he was able to beat it by using the trap room to his advantage, you know? But that's the thing, he wasn't even trying to do that. He was just trying to get away from this friggin' mimic and get out of the room. And they were able to... He was able to do that, but, like with the other trap episode, you can use this to cook, you know? Here, it's like you basically use that to hunt your food. So that's really great. And then I love the explanation that, like, yeah, you know, treasure... It's such an interesting thing that treasure bugs eat mimics. They go inside, lay their eggs, go in, devour everything that's inside the chest. Then when an adventurer goes and opens the chest, all those treasure bugs can go find new mimics. Like, that's such a funny thing, you know? Like, that's, like, playing into that along with the mimic concept is such an interesting thing, you know? So I like it. I like it. This is a fun episode. Fun with the paintings, and then fun Chilchuck moment. And yeah, I love just the fact that he's like, all right, I'm not a kid. I'm almost 29. And then, you know, the dwarf and the elf look at him and is like, oh, so you're still a kid then? And it's just like, no, damn it. Meanwhile, Leos, he's probably like 19. So he's probably the youngest there, but he's technically the leader. So, I mean, in terms of lifespans, he's probably either right there with them, like in terms of lifespan percentage, he's either right there with them or probably even past them in terms of the percentage of lifespan. So, I don't know. It's just a funny thing. But yeah, what a great show. What a great show. God, I'm loving all these medieval fantasies. They're just, there's something about them. I don't know why I've decided to watch so many of them right in a row, but it just kind of worked out that way, and I'm glad for it. But yeah. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my delicious and dungeon reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.